scrolling through shit. It's all in the spirit of stuff. Do you know what? You have your fun. No disrespect to you. It ain't for me.
The one thing for me is what I noticed is someone had obviously seen there was going to be a storm and brought a canoe.
Hello, welcome to episode 12, series 5, 2 Pints with Will and Ralf, with me, with one of my Ralph Little.
Jeez, have you just got up?
Yeah.
He's just got out of bed.
Will's got the hump with me.
He's late.
Because I'm 15 minutes late. I had a nightmare with taxis, right? And Will's like, you're always late. I was like, I let you in yesterday.
Well, just put.
How is
you
that
said
true?
today.
I let you in.
We'll get there early, and I'm here early, and you're here late, and
I'm
your
still
hair's
here
like you've just got out of bed.
Well, I don't care. Most people are listening to this. Well, I don't care. If there's one difference between you and me, you're vainer. I don't care. You're the one with.
You're lazier.
You're the one with. That's true. I'm lazier. You're the one with Botox injections in your eyes.
Botox,
sorry,
dickhead.
salmon jizz injections into your eyes.
It's not salmon jizz. I had the other one.
Cow jizz.
I've got to go back. Yeah, no, I've got to go back. I've got to have different. You apparently have to have it a couple of times for it to stay.
Okay. Well, we'll see the before and after.
We'll see.
Do you know what? I'm always, you know how you're always going, can we get, so every time we do a photo with anyone, and if anybody ever walks up to us and goes, oh, do you mind if I get a photo with you lads, right? I'll be like that. Yeah, no problem, yeah, whatever, just a quick photo. Will's like, yeah, hold on, wait a second, wait, if you notice, the main light's coming from there, that's the sun, and then we've got to do the light.
I just say,
bollocks,
face the light, and then you'll be able to see us.
Any just random, sweet, like stranger on the street, all they want is a quick photo. They don't want to, you make a right meal of it. You're like, I want to have a good picture. Have we got any side lights there? Has anyone got a ring light that we could? He's turning them round.
Do you think I say, has anyone got a ring light? You're talking absolute bollocks.
I've heard that. But because of all this, every time we've come in here and sat in this little studio, Will's like, yeah, right, is the light okay? Anyway, we came in, and the big light that's over there that you can't see is now been moved, so it's out of everyone's way, and it's on a little sort of scaffold there. Will's come in and he's gone, who's moved that light?
It bothers me.
I'm not happy about it at all.
I don't like change. And also, what did you say to me? I watched some of your videos. How come I look like Casper? That's what you said.
In your defence, I did say I've taken a piss out of you the whole time, and then I watched a couple of our videos on YouTube, and you're like, you've got a little warm glow from this sign, you've got a nice little bit of lighting, and it cuts to me, and it's like, why is he doing a podcast with a dead person? Why is this dead man talking? This doesn't seem possible. So yes, Will's already complained about the light. He's complained about me arriving 15.
I just noticed a difference.
You've had a whinge.
No.
What about when the other day? I love your whinges.
What have I done now?
Whenever you arrive anywhere, at first, you've got to walk in and whinge a little. We've talked about this before. We've talked about you walking in a restaurant. I talked to your son Jaden. He was like, "Oh my God, he's a nightmare." You're walking in a restaurant. You go, "All right, can I have a different table? Have you got a candle? Can we change the light? Can the music go up?" And you and the family, you're like, "It's got to be right for Michelle." And Michelle's like, "I don't give a shit."
No, I've got a bit of an OCD with if I don't feel right where I'm sat, I can't sit there. It's like Michelle, she likes to face the room. She can't have a back to her room. I like to have the back to the room, right? So it's just...
Why can't Michelle have a back to the room? She's not Al Capone.
No, but she
wants to sit with her back to the wall so she can see any of her enemies walk in.
How
many enemies does Michelle have?
She's a wanted woman. I don't know, it's just preference, but I think I've rubbed off on it. I've got I've got a bit of an OCD with lighting. I don't like things that are too bright. I don't like restaurants that are too bright, like eating in Asda. Why would you want that? The bright lights. I like it. If I'm going out for a romantic meal, I like it to be nice and chilled. And I have put a candle on my phone before. I've downloaded a candle app and put it in the middle of the table.
You've got weird.
I'm a proper OCD. Yeah. At home, when I put a film on, I get all excited. I get my candles all lit and all that, and get it all nice, and I get the sound right. I bought a subwoofer now for my sound thing, so it sounds like a cinema.
Did you buy it, or did you do a
I
little
bought
Instagram
it, thank you very much.
Subwoofersareus.com. Oh, what a great company they are. Like when you got your patio done, and you put...
I paid for that and all.
Bollocks. No, you didn't. You put an Instagram video up, and it was like, it made me laugh so much, because it was like, hey, these lads, patios for us.
It was not patios for us.
Oh, John Smith's patios. Oh, they're a great bunch of lads, and it's like a little photo with them. I was like,
it was a pergola or a pergola.
Right, okay.
And I had to pay for it.
And bollocks. And I'm like, okay, Will's got this for either free or he's got a heavy discount, which is what this Instagram video
might
is.
have got a bit of a discount.
Yeah, okay, fair dues. But what was massively unnecessary?
What?
I get the video of going, here's the lads, aren't they great? Oh, here's a bit of footage of them putting it up. You know, they do a great job, you should use them.
What now?
I totally get that.
What have I done now?
It was the bit where there was footage of you going, yeah, lads, I'll help. I'll pitch in. I'm one of the lads, me. Oh, I'll lift this bag of cement. Bollocks. Billy bullshitter.
Well, I did a bit. Once that shot was over, I put it down and went in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Does anyone want a cup of tea?
They asked me to get involved, so I got involved.
Well, don't get
I did a
involved.
bit of cutting, I banged a nail in, I carried a bag.
Listen, when you got the free stem cells, you weren't injecting your own eyes, were you?
No.
And the other thing that made me laugh was talking about you getting weirder as you've got older, because he didn't used to be like this. He used to be very easy, happy-go-lucky, and he's got.
I am happy-go-lucky, but there's certain things that bother me.
More finicky as you've got older.
I have.
And we were doing. Remember, I said a couple of weeks ago we did James Martin's show. So we met in the hotel the night before, and we had a bit of dinner, and we was having a laugh together. And Will's like, I said, "Oh, where have you been?" He was like 5 minutes. I was down for dinner on time, and Will was late. I just want to make that clear. And I said, "Yes, you were." And I said, "Where have you been?"
There wasn't a time for dinner. It was just, I'll meet you in the bar in a
We
bit.
arranged to be there for 7:30. You turned up at 10:50.
Well,
Yeah, there you go, you see. Right, but anyway, luckily, I don't care. But I was like, well, you're all right, mate, what you been doing? He's like, I just had to pop down the shop, get some Gaviscon. I was like, yeah, no, grassing you up. I said, why? Are you all right? Is there something wrong with your stomach? And he's like, no, I just always have Gaviscon with me just in case.
I do. It's when you get a bit older, these things happen. I'm telling you, if you're not out there now, right, and if you're around my age, do you not have Gaviscon?
No.
Right, it's coming.
And do you know what he said? He said, I always have Gaviscon and Imodium. Always have it with me wherever I go. Although, to be fair, given my experiences with norovirus.
You should be sponsored by it after shit
honestly,
in the bed.
I really should.
No, I do. I have my toiletry bag that goes everywhere with me. It's got Nitol in case I can't sleep. It's got Sudafed because I had sinusitis a long time ago, and then every now and then
Flares up.
I have Imodium Instance, so you put them on your tongue, dissolvable ones, and I also have Gaviscon.
Yeah, and black spray for them.
My black spray for my napper, and eye drops.
Do you have eye drops?
Yeah, since I had my lenses done on my eyeballs. Every now and then, I just sometimes get a bit gritty, or if I feel a bit tired, eye drops.
Oh,
That's the problem. That I'm walking around like a mobile chemist. But it's just how it's happened over years. I don't know why.
What? It's actually,
and then a panic if I haven't got it. It's like, I'm on my last Gaviscon.
That's what it is. It was the panic. You went, I had to go get some Gaviscon. I was like,
didn't have any.
Could you? Yeah, and you were like, could you not have managed for like a night without? He's
had
like,
to
I have to know it's there.
You know what
I have to know it's there.
I had to root round in my toiletry bag to find one of these dirty old stained tablets that had fell out of these gastro reflux tablets.
Really?
Yeah, wash it under the tap. I love that in me gob.
Really? Just in case.
Just in
wait.
case.
You preemptively take Gaviscon just in case.
Do you know what it is? If I have a few beers, right, or sometimes I have a little whiskey. Like at the end of the night, I'll have a little whiskey and a little sipper. Like it's my favourite drink now. If I'm watching my iPad and I want to have a little sipper, is an old fashioned.
Right. Okay.
It's strong, but it's just a little sipper. But it does give me a bit of the old Gaviscon. No, it doesn't. Gives me heartburn.
The Gaviscon. Yeah.
Gaviscon. Yeah, it gives me a bit of heartburn. So yeah.
Do you know what? It's quite.
Maybe it's the stress of worrying about having heartburn that's giving me heartburn.
I would say so. Yeah. Do you know what? It's quite touching, really, because it's a bit like, you know, when you see like an incredibly an amazing thoroughbred racehorse that's just now like. Just knackered. Its knees have gone.
Knackered, and I was never a thoroughbred. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Oh well.
But I'm trying.
Well, it's like that, but not a thoroughbred racehorse. Just a sort of like a cart horse, but like that was once
like
loved.
a Butlins donkey.
Yeah, like a Butlins donkey.
The donkey derby.
That's now just sort of walking in circles.
With a straw hat on.
Yeah. Do you know? You reminded me then about this thing about Gaviscon. It is. I don't know why we're back to talking about poo, but this is my fault. I'll take this. But
yeah,
I used to know someone. Some people. I think that. There is a sort of a psychology to it that if you ever talk to people about this, people have really, really specific and sort of like pooing is a really interesting, like a very individual and psychological thing that a lot of people genuinely struggle with. Some people can't, like psychologically, they find it really difficult. I had an ex-girlfriend, for real, who was like worried about it all the time. She'd be like, oh, it's been a couple of hours, and because it was on her mind all the time. Like me, I'm like, oh, I need to go to the toilet, so I'll go. Oh,
Can you go anywhere as well? Because some people
can go anywhere. It's not
my son.
Really?
Will not go anywhere.
He's going to be delighted that we're talking about this.
Yes, he waits and he has to go at home. He can't go anywhere else.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, like
specific toilet.
Like what was it? Finch out of American Pie. Do you remember he had to go?
Yes.
Couldn't go to school. But you get that. My ex-girlfriend, she'd be like, this was over a decade ago, but she was like, because she worried about it. It was a real psychological thing, and we talked about food on the last episode as well, and I realised how lucky I am to have like a healthy relationship with food, or basically not even have any relationship with food. When I'm hungry, I eat, and I don't think about it.
Yeah, but you try and stuff your face, don't you, when you want to put face? You're like,
yes.
I'm not hungry, but I've got to bulk up.
Yeah, like sometimes I'm like, I look a bit too thin, so I've got to hit some calorie. But like, but generally it doesn't bother me, right? And
God, you don't do the Ozempic.
Oh God, can you imagine me on Ozempic?
You'd just be.
Why is there a broom that's just walked in?
You'd be like skeleton.
I know. I mean, it gets like that anyway. But this is a genuine thing, like you said about your son. Like a lot of people. So she would wake up honestly, she'd wake up in the morning, and the first thing she'd do is go, "Oh God, I've got to go to work." But if I go to work, what happens if I'm going to... Okay, I really need to go before... So I'll set my alarm for 6 so I can get up, and I'll walk around and drink a few coffees to try and it honestly wasn't a physical thing. It was a mental... Like, it was a psychological... Because she was always worried about it, it made it harder. And I think this is a sort of weirdly more common thing than people... Not that specific thing, but I think people think about it more. And it's only as I've got older that I've realised a lot of people think about food more than I do. A lot of people think about that more than I do. And I don't know what the point is here. It's just that like you never quite know what other people's psychology is and what people are doing.
Things that happen when you get older, and things that never even enter your mind start to bother you. Like me walking around with a more or less medicine kit in every hotel I've got.
I know somebody who everyone would know, who I won't name, and it was a bloke, and a very, very straightforward guy. Very, very like, kind of, you'd expect me and you, I think you would think that me and you are sort of quite straightforward blokes, right? And he was a very straightforward bloke. His thing about going to the toilet, his thing about pooing was, anywhere he was, it's not that he could only go at home, but anywhere he was in the world, he would have to know where the nearest toilet was and how quickly it would take him to get there, just in case. He didn't have IBS. It's not like he had a physical problem, but it was really like he would get stressed if he was like, I don't know where the nearest toilet is. I need to know.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of people out there listening going, that's me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying is if I...
It's not something you talk about, though, is it?
Well, not really.
It's not something you go, guess what? I have trouble. I worry about
Yeah,
fitting.
exactly. But bearing in mind, if I've heard 2 or 3 examples of this over the years and it's not something you talk about, then I can only think that it must be that people must have like these things.
I've got a story that, listen, if you're eating, put your sandwich down, right? But this
it's not going to be as bad as my norovirus story, surely.
Well, It was when I was a bit younger. I used to still go home, like when I was in Hollyoaks, and then I don't know if I'd left Hollyoaks or whatever, but I still used to take my washing home for my mum. I'd be like, Mum,
by the way,
give us your washing.
No judgment whatsoever. I'm here for it. Good for you.
No, but she was like, give us your washing. So I'd come in and I go, all right. Anyway, I went to the toilet upstairs in Mum and Dad's house for number 2, and then I went out, forgot all about it. Came back, and your mum went, your dad's pissing fuming with you. He's upstairs with rubber gloves on. I went, what? And he come out of the toilet with a bread knife and rubber gloves. He went, you dirty bastard. I went, what? He went, you blocked the bleeding toilet. It's bent round the U-bend. What's wrong with you? Shoot your pissing food, lad. And he was
sawing at it with a bread knife. What happened to the bread knife? I hope it got burnt. Oh, good. Can you imagine if it's like, give that a rinse, it'll be fine.
With like a hazmat suit on and rubber gloves. You dirty get. You don't be shitting in my toilet ever again. Shirley, he's not allowed to use his toilet.
Shirley!
She was like, wait till you see your father. I was like, what? I forgot all about it. I'd obviously flushed it and left. And it's just there. They're going, I'm going nowhere.
Yeah, it's like, hey, was it Eddie Murphy was like, what does that chunk want?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
A mate of mine told me a story. I love that this is a whole section dedicated to poo now, but a mate of mine told me a story. Not even a story, it's just like, I used to play football with him, and I've not seen him for years. He lives in LA now, so he'll know if he ever listens to this, it's him. And he goes, I said, how often do you see your stepdad? He said, I get on with him great. I've known him years. I see him basically every day. He lived in London, central London. I was like, do you? Why do you go visit? Does he come visit? He's like, well, they live out in down in Kent. I was like, oh, right. So how come you see him every day? He's like, well, he drives a black cab. So so if he's ever in the area, he calls me up and goes, I'm coming in for a shit.
What? Really?
Well, I said, that was my response. I went, what? Really? And he goes, well, there's no toilet in a black cab. So you're driving around all day. You never know where you're going to be. So if he's going past, he'll be like, all right, son, just going to pop in. It comes, wrecks his toilet, says, good to see you, and then fucks off again.
Do you know what? It's literally, people say about this podcast, it's just two lads talking shit. And today, we've taken it very, very literally. We're right on it.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject then, has anyone been to a festival? Have you been to a festival?
Yeah, mate.
Don't listen,
darling. I have been to a festival. What I would
suggest. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it was a lovely experience.
Unless you've got VIP wristbands with flushing toilets, and even them are right.
Even then, it's
But if you're going and you're going to the normal portaloo, porta cabins, whatever you want to call them, take Imodium before you go. You don't want to be going in there. Men
take him at what? Just to not
just clog yourself. Block yourself up.
Imodium, 12 eggs.
Eat loads of eggs and bread. Bread eggs. Yeah. Eat what was on that hotel menu the other night, what I told you about. Going off subjects a second.
What was that? What?
I phoned down. It was after I'd sang that. I've been out singing at Gorton Monastery. Bring Him Home song.
Of course you had.
Right. Well, yeah. But
Shock.
No, the song that I'm bringing out. Anyway.
That's the song that you're bringing out?
Yeah,
Sorry. Do you want to mention that? It's for charity. Yeah.
Anyway, so I got back and it was about 10, half 10, and it was, you're a bit hungry. So I've got my suit off and I thought I'll ring down. And it's a nice hotel. It was a nice hotel, and I said,
I noticed you're not naming names because you want them to hopefully get a free room.
Well, I'm not going to start the hotel. No. It's not their fault. But what I was saying is,
but you told me the net, and it's it's a proper hotel. It's not like a small outfit.
No, and I said, can I order some food? And they said, kitchen's closed. I was like, okay. But you have a 24-hour menu.
Yeah, you got some sandwiches, anything like soup,
lasagna, stuff, spaghetti bolognese, sandwiches. Lots of stuff like that. They said, we have 2 sandwiches available. I went, 2? She said, we have chicken sandwich.
Okay, not sure I fancy that. What else?
Or a potato sandwich. A potato butty. I said, did you say a potato? She said, yeah, it's the vegetarian option. I said, well, could I have some bread on toast instead? Well, why would I want carb on carb? Why would I? Might as well call it a chip butty.
Well, but that's the thing. You'd have a chip butty, right?
Or I would if I was 7.
Yeah, or
I've not had a chip butty for years.
Tell you what you would have if you were 7, a crisp butty, right? You'd have a crisp butty. You might even at a push have a chip butty, but no one's ever, if that's what you're serving, call it that. But why a potato sandwich? That to me, I'm picturing a jacket potato in 2 bits of bread. Or worse, mashed potatoes spread on bread. Do you know what? We're going to get some listener coming in going, I love that. That's my favourite thing.
But I just thought...
Like the episode we did about stuff on biscuits. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, we ate some
jam on it was horrible. Anyway, go on.
I just thought... It's a big hotel. You know what I mean? And I thought, someone's gone, right, sandwich. We're looking at... we're just going to do the menu for the 24-hour menu.
Yeah, let's make sure we just do
2 sandwiches. So we'll need something for a veggie option. We'll do a chicken. We'll do a chicken sandwich.
That makes,
what can we do for veggie?
What do they eat? What do veggies eat?
What have we got in that fridge? We've got some old potatoes. Stick that on there. We'll have a potato butty.
Boil a potato up and stick it on.
Seriously? She was like, I don't do the menu. I know. I just went, does anybody order? Do you know what? I've been starving all day and all I wanted was a potato sandwich.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, going back to my point is, if you're going to a festival, them toilets... it's not worth it. It really isn't. I was mentally scarred for life. I just opened the door. I went, no,
no, thank you,
because it was one of them. I was Glastonbury, and it was when it had rained, and I went with my mate Chaz, and we went in a tent. The first time we went was in a camper van, and the next time we went, I said, "Let's
do the experience." Yeah.
But we were backstage, so we had the VIP stuff. But you're still in the tent. But at least they had flushing loos. Anyway, I was in the tent, and we was out watching a band. And you know when you're bursting, and I thought, I'll just go to the toilet. How bad can it be? I opened the door, and it was a... and it was like, it was a mound above the seat.
It wasn't even a fly. It was just sizzling.
There was no drop. It was above all level with the seat. It piled up that much.
Wait,
it was like
a pile.
You could see the poo from at the door. I just went, no, I'll leave it. I'll wait. walk from the knees down back to the VIP area.
No.
But the worst thing was that trip is it was when there was heavy storms. I'm in this tent thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? As soon as I get up tomorrow, I'm going to go and get my car. I'm going to go home, right? I don't give a shit who's playing tomorrow. I'm going. I'm hungover. I've had enough. And then what happened was, because of the floods, all the toilets tipped up and shit and piss water ran down the hill, right? And flooded, right?
Flooded your tent?
Well, where we was, it was just flooded. But where my car was, I had to wade through piss and shit water up to my ankles in flip-flops to get to my car. It was going between my toes. I'm sorry, everyone, if you're eating. But I was just going to myself, it's mud. It's just mud. Please tell me it's just mud. And people are going, you know that shit water you're walking through? I was like, Jesus Christ, we're all going to... Any cuts on my feet, I'd have had it. So I'm walking through and I'm thinking it's worth it, because when I get to that car, I'm going home. Got to my car and they went, oh, we've closed the car park, mate. You can't come in here. It's flooded. I said, my car's in there. He said, no, we're not. We can't. No cars are coming out of there today, lad. I had to walk all the way back through the shit and piss water. I had to walk all the way back through to my tent and try and get someone who had a Winnebago to let me use a shower to hose me legs down, my shins.
Which ironically,
my shins were covered in sewage.
Is what I had to do during norovirus. Hose my legs down.
It was like, why am I here? It was miserable. I was hungover. I was freezing. I was soaking wet, and then I had shit all over my shins.
So listen, loads of people are going to hear what I'm about to say and completely disagree.
Sorry
with
about
me.
the disgusting language of the toiletry humour.
And they're going to be people are going to disagree with me, and they're going to be like, "Oh, how boring are you?" So I've done V Festival a couple of times. I've done Glastonbury twice. Blah blah blah. And honestly, I couldn't be less interested. I don't care who's playing. I could not. It's not for me. It is not for me. I like and for reasons like that, and it's and
I've not been back.
You see footage of certain people are like, "Oh, you just embrace the spirit of it," and I'm rolling around in mud. It's like, oh, fuck off.
Do you know what I really think as well is a lot of them are off the tits. So I see them rolling around this mud, and I'm thinking that's fun. When you wake up tomorrow and it's all dried and crusty on you.
Well, as we mentioned, like I said, as we mentioned in the last episode,
you're going to regret it.
I've got like no judgment at all. It's just drugs have never been a part of my life. So if you're like just like spaced out off your tits, whatever, and you're going, this is fun. You know what? Fair play to you.
But there'll be a point when
but that is not for me.
Yeah, there'll be a come down.
I don't want to be taking some pill or snorting something or whatever and being like, oh, I love rolling through shit. It's all in the spirit of stuff. Do you know what? You have your fun. No disrespect to you. It ain't for me.
The one thing for me is what I noticed is someone had obviously seen there was going to be a storm and brought a canoe. I was like, what are you doing? He's canoeing through shit and piss water. Like,
where did you get that from?
Like, where's he got that canoe from? He's brought that. He's just like, hey. I mean, you see some things at these festivals that you just think, I don't understand. That's just, it was not the one.
This is not on the topic of that, but
it's probably. I think we should move off the toilet stuff now.
On what you're saying about like it's like just two lads talking shit or whatever.
Literally today is.
I wanted to say this to you. This is an observation that I've only been able to make once because of a specific situation, and I think that the reason I'm saying it is because it's like, oh, what are we like us two? Like two lads. Oh, you know what are we talking about? Oh, sometimes we're a bit childish, sometimes we're not, but whatever, and we're fine with that. So you know how we talked about how I get my nails done, get my toenails done, and yes, right, okay. Well, I don't really bother with my hands because they're already pretty.
Wow, it won't be long.
Oh yes, I am thinking about it. Right,
yeah, you'll have glitter in your beard next.
We were doing when we were in the Caribbean.
Oh yeah,
this last time, one of the makeup ladies, one of the makeup girls was like, do you know what? Just for just a bit of extra cash, if anyone wants, I'll do manicures. I'll do pedicures as well, but I'll do manicures in my hotel room. The cast and crew all stays like in the same hotels, whatever. So come to my room this time. You can all come. And I went, and it was like so. It was a girls' nail night basically.
And you went.
Well, and I said, oh, I get my nails done, and she went, you can come along if you want. And when people she put it out, she's like, does anyone mind if Ralf comes along? And it's not real. And to be clear, it's not like I want to do it because if the women want their time, I get that. So I was like, no, look, I don't have to. And she's like, no one minds if you come in to get your nails done, get your hands manicured, fine. So basically, I had this one-time experience of sort of being part of a girls' night. And
how was it?
It was weird because all of the women, and we were all friends. We were all friends at work, and we were all friends socially.
Did you have a robe on? Like was you all like a Hindu kind of party?
A lot of the girls were in pajamas.
What was you wearing?
Just like a thong, a glittery thong.
So, which one of you girls wants me first?
Yeah. So, no, but this is the thing. And it was like, I felt when I arrived, I was like, I don't want to make this awkward. And for some reason, because I was getting my nails done, for that one occasion, I was sort of like an honorary one of the girls for that. So, and the reason I'm telling you this is because what it meant was I feel like they just felt that they could talk freely amongst themselves, like it was a normal girls' night in.
What was it like? What did they talk about?
It was the most eye-opening and eye-watering evening of my... Mate, you think that it makes lads' nights out look fucking tame.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, listen, hey, I can't say this for all women. Maybe it was just that group of girls and that's what they talked about. But honestly, I was like, girls' nights are unbelievable. Like,
They go in?
I mean, honestly, just the shit that they talked about that we wouldn't talk about. Stuff like the amount of talk about their own body parts but like, and they're friends, they work together. But still, it's like they're sort of going, oh, my vagina looks like this. I honestly think that if I hadn't been there, they would have whipped it out and gone, what do you think of that? Does that look all right?
Yeah, that's why you turned up. That's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, I was like,
let's hope we have a vagina sharing night.
Would you mind doing my nails 5 times? Because I don't know how this evening's going to progress. But like, it's like they're talking about that. It's like, oh yeah, my boobs are like. I honestly think, like I say, they would have, if I'd have not been there, they would have been like, what do you think? Is mine bigger than yours?
Have a feel of this. Does it feel normal to you? All that stuff.
And it's like...
It's very different to men.
It's very different to men, but I was kind of like... I don't know. I think what's my point? I think that societally we think that like we guys are like oi oi and we talk like close to the bone. But actually, it was quite amazing and quite cool to just see like just women just being so much freer than we are.
My missus always says when I come home, if I don't really go out that much, but when I go out, if I go out to the pub with my mates and all that, she'll say,
what did you talk about?
How's it going on? Hey, how's his missus? Did you? I was like, I ain't got a clue.
I don't got a fucking clue.
You didn't ask how his missus? No. I was in a relationship because he had a row, didn't they? What? I don't know. Yeah, did you not ask him? No. You're crap. You bring up no gossip. I'm like, what do you think? We watch a bit of football, we play the game of pool.
Yeah, so many times, like girlfriends have said to me, it's like, so exactly that. So what do you do? How is he? How is his work? I'm like, fuck, no idea. And people have said to me, you've been out for 5 hours.
No.
What did you talk about? And I'm honestly like, no idea.
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
I've known people, before we started doing this podcast, we knew each other for the best part of 20 years. Knew nothing about each other.
Exactly.
That's not what guys do. But honestly, mate, they were talking about their own bodies and blah, and sharing all this stuff and talking about, like sex and stuff. And they're going, oh yeah, no, I really like it when, this is my favourite position. But I really like it when it's
really?
about, yeah. And
is there any more of these?
And honestly, I was doing my manicure and I was having my manicure done and I was sort of a little bit like, don't get involved in the conversation. But I also wanted to be like, I'm here, right? Just you've not forgotten that I'm here because I don't want you to feel
like Homer Simpson just disappearing into the edge.
Yeah, to the hedge, yeah. But I was a little bit like felt a responsibility to go, is it all right that I'm part of this conversation? And for some inexplicable reason that would never have happened in any other scenario, they were like, yeah, you're one of us for tonight.
Great.
But what an experience.
Yeah.
And it honestly, it
puts a fly on the wall.
It puts the sort of what we think is our edgy chat to fucking shame.
Men, yeah. I probably goes down the same road of why women go to the toilet together.
Well, yeah.
You coming for a wee?
Yeah. Like, yeah, of course I am.
I would never say to imagine my mate, Ralf, coming for a wee.
Yeah, coming for a wee, yeah. They go in cubicles together as well.
Oh, the average. What, having a pee? Yeah. While the other one sat there going, I know, can you believe that she said that to you? I know, while they're wiping. Right, just give me a minute. Yeah. So,
so another one. So my ex, she was like, I got a waxing. I went and got waxed, right?
Oh, that's weird. How did they do all that?
I said, oh, right, okay. And she said, yeah. So anyway, I was chatting to her. And
while it was happening?
Yeah, she was chatting to her waxer. And then it's like, anyway, you'll meet her on Friday. She's at the party. I was like, wait. So how do you know? Did you meet her? She's like, oh, no, she's a friend. She's been a friend for years. And I was like,
she waxes her friend's bits?
Her friend, I mean, this is what she does professionally. She has a salon, but nonetheless, she's there and they're friends. That is literally like me and you. They've been friends for years. And she goes and she's like, yeah, so what you been up to? While she's just waxing a vagina, a bumhole.
I'm telling you right now, I don't care how close
Let's
we ever
not-
get.
I'm never waxing your balls.
I am never waxing your bum.
Never waxing your balls
No.
in my entire
Oh, I'm
not
not-
least because I'd have to go somewhere around your ankles.
Yes.
Actually,
never waxed
you know, you
my
talked
golf
about
balls in a
you know,
football sock.
you know how you can't pronounce elasticity. And
Elasticity.
you're like, oh, it sorts out your elasticity in your eyes. Maybe you should get it on that long old.
I told you.
Maybe,
I've
maybe you
looked
can pull your balls back
I've
up
looked
somewhere.
up bollock to me. There isn't one. I thought we could use that skin for something else. There's a lot going on there now. We could get that skin.
Little skin grafts. If you
Yeah,
ever need,
I could maybe sell it.
yeah, if you iron it, put it under your eyes.
Don't
that'll
need any
smooth
more
it out.
wrinkles.
Yeah.
You need an iron first.
Oh dear. Right, well, we've got some things to talk about, but we've covered about 45 minutes on poo and
On
poo and waxing.
Yeah, right. Well, what have we got?
Well, in a previous podcast, you said
What?
you don't talk politics, you call it bollockatics.
Bollockatics. Yeah.
Bollockatics.
Well, I just think, everyone's got an opinion, and my opinion, you might not agree with, I might not agree with your opinion. Doesn't mean you're right or wrong, it's just your opinion. And I think you go down that road
Well, it
and you
depends.
arguing.
You had an opinion.
Arguing.
You had an opinion on whether there was a moon landing or not, and that was a wrong opinion.
In your opinion.
No, by fact. There's facts and opinions.
Do you know what Neil Armstrong wouldn't do? Swear on the Bible. The bloke put a Bible, he said, can you put your hand on that Bible and swear that you land on the moon? He said, no, I can't do that. Why would he say that?
Can you swear on the Bible that you've never beaten a child to death?
What?
Swear on the Bible. If I'll hold out a Bible, swear on this
I would
Bible.
do,
You
yeah,
know,
of
no,
course
you
I
wouldn't.
would.
You'd
Why?
go. I'm not.
Yeah, but he's not beating a child to death. He's supposed to
No,
be
I know, but
on the moon.
Yeah, I know, but
he's not
you
beating a child. It's a bit different.
No, I know, but my point is, you'd just be like, no, I'm not. No, fuck
Well,
off.
all I'm saying,
fuck off.
my opinion, I don't think they have the technology then to do it.
Okay.
I don't believe they did.
Okay, but what about?
It was a political
What about if
race.
it was your opinion that the Earth is flat and it's my opinion that it's not? Are our opinions
Well,
both valid? Are they both valid?
Of course they are.
No, they fucking aren't. There's evidence. That's nonsense.
Well,
your opinion is that
where's-
there's fairies live at the bottom of the garden,
No, but
and my opinion is that there
We
isn't.
can't go back round this. The evidence that they have of the moon landing is grainy footage with somebody saying, this is one small step for man, right? A rehearsed speech, right? That also...
What do you mean a rehearsed speech? What, like?
Of course, I know he was... he would practice it.
Yeah, I think he knew he was going.
Of course, but I'm just...
What?
I don't think they have the technology to get the vision and the sound in them days from the moon to here. I don't believe they did.
Right.
That's
So-
my opinion.
So to be clear, right, you're happy with the fact that they built a rocket, did all the calculations, navigations, managed to get a radiation issue. All
was
of that,
important to
radiation
America.
protection. Right, but your opinion
a
is
race-
your
it
problem.
was
with
a space
your
race,
problem with
wasn't
the
it?
moon landing is the footage, right? So it's possible in your.
I don't
in your
believe they landed on the
theory
moon, no.
that they went to the moon, right? They had all that technology, but where the technology failed was like, I just don't think they could have got the pictures
No,
back.
I don't think they landed on the moon. I don't think they have the technology to land, take off, and come back safely. I don't believe it.
Okay, we're going to get a scientist on here to talk to you about this fucking nonsense because what worries me,
I don't
what
believe
worries
it, that's
me
my-
is that
that's-
we're now propagating fucking
I'm
nonsense.
not propagating. It's my opinion. I've looked at evidence for both
Have
sides.
you? Have you?
Well, all
You've
right.
done your research, have you?
Get on with your
Mr.
point.
fucking flat
Get on with
Earth.
your politics. I'm not flat Earth. I think the Earth's round. There you go.
Why? Because there's evidence.
Because I've seen, yeah.
Because you've
modern,
seen pictures.
modern
You've
evidence.
seen pictures of people on the moon.
Yeah. So in 1960s, they've landed on the moon. All them they can't do it now, but they could do it then.
They had pictures of the Earth being round in 1960s. Are those pictures not valid?
That's not the same. Get on with your point. Politics. Go on.
Well, bollockatics.
Bollockatics.
I think that we should have a bollockatics section every
no.
week, which is where we talk about something. We talk about an incredibly sort of complex and difficult issue, but you break it down into 2 sentences of your understanding.
Okay,
of it.
go on then. Tell
Well,
me.
that's just we've not.
Oh, you haven't got any?
We've not got
Alright.
one yet, but I did want to ask you, like,
What?
aside from what you just said about it's your opinion, like what is it that you find so distasteful? Like, is it that you're not? I don't think you're not bothered about what's going on in the world. Is it just that you find it just so frustrating and I do.
I stopped watching the news because
yeah.
it was bothering me.
and I can't do anything about it. All I can do is vote.
I'm shouting at the telly.
Yeah.
Or when things pop up on my news feed, there's a lot of stuff what Trump says and what he's done and all this sort of stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on that I can't control. So I think it's better sometimes just to go, just don't think about it.
I have to say,
Because I wish the world was a better place. I wish there was more equality. I wish there wasn't such a massive gap between the rich and the poor. But I can't change that. I can say it, but I just think the people in politics just want to be in power. So they'll say whatever it takes. They'll discredit the other person. They'll discredit them. They never agree, even if the point is valid. And I just think it's about who wins, not about how we can make this world better. And that annoys me.
Well, I have to say that, like, I used to be kind of very, like, involved and interested. And it's like that feeling of helplessness that you describe. Like, it was almost like I used to be on Twitter a lot, and like almost for my mental health, I was like, I just can't do this anymore.
Arguing with people who are stupid,
and it's
just want to argue with you.
Yeah, and it's a bit like it should be noted that it is, if you're comfortable, it's quite a privileged position to not have to care about politics, because if you're the disenfranchised and the marginalised, you've got to care about politics, because you're like, this has to fucking change. Whereas because we're a certain age and we're quite comfortable, it is quite a privileged position to not have to care. So we should.
I do care. I just don't.
We should acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But I do agree that it's like it's so easy to just fall into just apathy, because you go, I can't do anything anyway. Do you vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
I voted last year, yeah.
And how did
you know what
what did you base your vote on? Like,
because it had to change.
Because
we
feeling.
needed to change. No, because the way it was going, I just listen. If everything, there's always an excuse. They always blame the party before. So if there's a new party comes in and say, well, it'll take a few years because look what we left behind. So that gives them 2 years. Do you know? I just.
Yeah.
It's just one of them things. It just annoys me.
Like
All I try to do, I say to people is, I try to look after my own, make sure my family's all right, and anyone I can see and help along the way, I do. Random acts of kindness, makes me feel good about myself, try and be a decent person. If everyone sort of went around like that, I think the world would be a better place doing that. So anything you can control.
What kind of random acts of kindness?
Well, if somebody needs help, or I bought people food, or there was a couple of old ladies having dinner, lunch, out for lunch, and they were counting the monies, going, yeah, and I just went and I paid the bill, and as I left, I just went, your bill's been paid, love, don't worry, and they were like, oh, thank you, young man, and then there was listen, that was just something. It's something that doesn't involve money. Just speaking to people, like the homeless people, you see people walking past, they don't even acknowledge them. Just say hello, you all right? Nice to see you. Or do you want a sandwich? Or whatever you want to do. Acknowledgement of people is valid. Because you see people walking down trains begging. I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, I say, sorry, mate, I haven't got nothing, but take care of yourself.
Yeah.
At least you've acknowledged them. They're part of some
humanity,
society,
a bit of dignity. I think
that's being kind. You don't have to be about money all the time.
So I found that Apple Pay, in my experience, Apple Pay has completely fucked the homeless community. For me,
they've got contactless.
So when you see one of them whip at you, like, you've invested your,
you've got contactless machine, and you sat by a NatWest bank. Or any other bank. There's lots of banks out there.
There are other banks.
So you're thinking,
available.
Can I have some cash? No, I do take card.
I've got to say,
one of them had a Kindle once.
I've got to say,
I haven't got a Kindle.
I think that's baller,
in London.
I honestly think that's baller. If you've managed to listen,
it's hard to
separate
the real homeless from the people who are using it as a job.
My mum used to say this, right? She used to be go, oh, they're probably a millionaire. Then they're sitting, and I'm like, I don't buy it. I don't think anyone's choosing to go. I'm going to.
There is gangs that run London that they have set about, aren't they? They've been proven. There is people. So you can usually tell who needs it and who doesn't.
But like any big system, there's going to be people who would be, even if it's the welfare state or the NHS, there's going to be people who abuse that system.
Yeah.
And they're the people that you read about and you get furious about.
Yeah.
But the millions that just need it to live and survive and thrive, you don't read about them because it's not as an outrage sells.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Apple Pay for me is fucked up because when I used to carry cash, right, you'd walk around. If I had a quid in my pocket or a couple of quid in my pocket, if I walked past somebody, a homeless person on the street, if I had a quid in my pocket, I'd be like, hey, you go, mate, whatever. And
a quid? What do you get for a quid? Now they go, is that all I'm going to get? Not a fiver?
To be fair, this is about 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Before Apple Pay came out.
Yeah, exactly.
So 10 years ago, you could actually buy something for a quid. Now you can get half a Freddo.
Exactly, you get nothing.
But anyway, there's no cash now, so I'm like, and so the number of times, but like you say, I will still be like, I'm sorry, mate, I haven't got any cash.
Exactly, but you acknowledge them, that's what's important.
And it's true, I'm not lying, I'm sorry, mate, I haven't got any cash, because at least there's sort of some humanity now. I've not just pretended that they're just a nothing
Exactly,
on the street.
Totally agree.
But years ago, I'd say about 15 years ago plus, 20 years ago, yeah, about 15 years ago, it was cold. It was one of those winters. I can't remember what year it was, but the winter was so cold. Maybe 2013.
I did something the same time in Manchester.
Right. So it was freezing.
It was Storm Ivan. It was.
That's right. I was
filming No Offense at the time.
It was around Storm Ivan and the Beast from the East.
That was it. Yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
Beast from the East, yeah.
So the previous year, I'd been bought a pair of like fancy I think they were North Face gloves, and it's like, oh my god, the amazing thing about these is you can use them, and you can use them with your phone. You can use them to, you don't have to take your gloves off to be able to use your iPhone. And they were dead expensive, and they've been bought to me for a Christmas present. Anyway, I lost them. I lose gloves like you wouldn't believe, just all everywhere. I was walking out of my house in London, and I was like, my hands are freezing. I'm just going to have to buy the cheapest gloves I can find, just some black wool gloves. I walked in, and there were these gloves for about £2. Pair of gloves, £2. And it was like, these work with your phone. I was like, no way, just crappy little £2 glove. And I was like, I lose gloves all the time. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy 10 pairs, right. £20, and if I lose them, I'll use the next one, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I had a pair of these gloves in my pocket, and if, during that time, if I walked past somebody on the street and they looked like they were cold, I'd be like, I'd try and give them a bit of money, but I'd also go, look, do you want these gloves? Because I had so many pairs. Anyway, I was walking down central London, and there was this guy on the street, and he looked, bless him, not in good shape at all. Like he was like shivering, and I don't know, he didn't look like he was all there. Maybe he was a bit pissed. Like, look, whatever. It was a tough life.
Do whatever you can to get by.
It was a tough life for him. And I've gone. He's gone. Sorry, mate. Have you got any change? And I've gone. Do you know what, mate? I'm sorry, I haven't got any change. But mate, you look cold. Do you want my gloves? And he's like, oh, thank you so much. And I got my gloves out of my pocket, and I held them out to him, and he looked at them and he went, nah, you're all right.
Really?
I was like, how bad is my fashion sense? That a guy's freezing to death and he's like, I'd rather fucking die than wear them gloves.
I'd rather get frostbite in every finger than wear them cheap shit.
I'd rather my fingers fell off than wear that shit. How much did they cost you? £2?
I did it with I bought at the same time, because I've told this story before, I think, so I'm sorry if I'm boring you. I was lay on the floor doing a scene in No Offence, and there was ice on the floor, and I was thinking, while I was lay on the floor, I mean, they've given you water bottles, you know what they do on set to keep you warm in between takes. Yeah. I was thinking, could you imagine if he was homeless in this? And it made me think, man, imagine this is me now for the night. Yeah. I had to, without the water bottles. Yeah. So the next day I had a day off, and I went and bought all the coats and jumpers I could from the local charity shop in Manchester. On the way down, it was on the drop, I think it's the drop down from Piccadilly, where you walk down. And then I walked around Manchester just giving out coats and jumpers. And most of them were really appreciative, apart from there's some people who are going, fuck that, mate. Have you got any spines? Have you got any art? Have you got any fucking money? Fucking hell, am I something here? And which was fine, because I was like, it's not for you. I did it in London, and there was this guy, and he just in socks, and he was in a wheelchair. So I said,
he was just in socks.
He just had some socks. He had other clothes on.
I was going to say.
No, I mean,
just in a wheelchair.
His knob out.
Just got some socks on.
No,
I was like, what were your priorities? Getting dressed?
No, I imagine that I just went and bought some shoes. So, have you got any underwear? No, he didn't have any shoes on. So I was with me, and I was like, I can't walk past him like that. He's begging. So I said, mate, can I get you some shoes? I said, he said, oh, thank you. I said, what size are you? So I went in, and I went into the shop, and I bought him a pair of trainers, and I gave him the trainers, and then I realised he only had one leg.
Oh, no. Well, what were we supposed to do? Buy one trainer?
And I was like, I bought you two. He said, I only need one. And then I realised, and he looked down, and he had his...
Did you say to him, do you have any mates that's only got one leg of the other?
I said, if you know anyone who's got the right foot, you can give them that. But
here's an interesting thing.
I couldn't just buy one shoe. So I said, well, you might as well keep it. But he put this shoe on.
Yeah.
Because I could see his leg was that one. I didn't see the other one. I thought it was like sat on it or something. And then obviously...
Here's an interesting thing, and it's not necessarily a funny story, but I think that we should acknowledge that this is I felt complicated in this moment. And this only happened a few months ago. This was very recent. I was in Manchester, and there was a homeless guy, and he was one of these lads who's like, you know, everyone's kind of got a different attitude. He didn't have a bad attitude, but he was a hustler. He was a hustler trying to get by. And you know what? I respect that. So he was like, yeah, mate, I don't suppose you've got any. I said, sorry, mate, I haven't got any cash. He goes, and he was hanging outside the spa, not waiting for a massage. The spa supermarket.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
You got any change, mate? I'm trying to get a massage in here.
I'm just going for a facial treatment. And he was hanging outside that, and he's like, well, I don't suppose you could get me. All right, don't suppose you could get me some food, can you? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure.
Of course, yeah.
So I walked in with him. And he was like, I said, what would you like? I don't mind, I'll get you a sandwich or whatever. He's like, well, I can get a good meal deal. And he's grabbed a sandwich and then some crisps and then a drink.
Sweet, yeah.
And then he's like, can I get this? And he's grabbed some chocolate. And he's like, can I get a beer? And I was like, it's a difficult one because it's like, if this is somebody who's struggling with substance abuse or alcohol abuse, I don't want to perpetuate that. But equally, I'm not his parent, and I've said I'll get him some stuff.
Exactly.
So I was like, fine, whatever. Sure, and I got that. And he's like, I need cigarettes, please. And and to be honest, it was one of them things where it's like, he's starting to take the piss now. He's starting to seriously take the piss out of my judge. I don't need to do this. But then, and I went backwards and forwards in my head about 8 times. I was like, he's starting to take the piss. And then I was like, but his life's really fucking hard, and he's getting what he can.
Yeah.
So I don't mind being hustled in this city, but I want him to know that I know that he's hustling me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't want him to do this thinking, what a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
I want him to know that I'm aware and I'm still letting it happen. Do you know? And I'm only saying this because all of this was a very complicated set of emotions for me.
Yeah.
And obviously, in the end, I didn't say anything.
Good.
I just bought him the stuff and I went...
Yeah, but you go about your day.
And I went, good luck to you, mate.
And hope that he does appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. I went, good luck to you, mate. But what I wanted to do was go, mate, just so you know, I know what was going on there and I'm cool with it.
Right, yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, like I acknowledged right at the start of this about politics, it's like, because I'm lucky enough that like, I mean, I'm by no means fucking set for life, and but like it's been a good few years, and I'm at least comfortable for now.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about going, this guy's fucking knocked me for 25, 30 quid or whatever it was, and I'm able to go, okay, have that, it's okay.
Do you know what? But just to wrap up on this, you know what bothered me mostly? I used to stay. It used to be called the McDonald Hotel in Manchester. It's changed the name now.
Oh yeah, the one just down from Piccadilly.
Yeah, and there's it was when I was filming. No offense, we stayed there throughout the whole thing, and there was tents. The homeless had put tents on the green opposite, and I was in reception, and I was listening to this conversation of these people going, "It's disgusting, isn't it? You have to look out your window and see that," and I was thinking, how do you think they feel looking out of their tent, looking at you in your hotel, having your beer in your nice warm bed and all that?
You're the victim here.
And they're going, they should move them on. And I was just thinking, you cheeky bastards. So,
and also, where to? What you're saying there is that you should move them on. Is they should move them on to a poorer area where we in our fancy hotel don't have to.
It got on my nerves.
That's what it means. Like, where are you going to move them to?
So what I did do was I went to the shop, bought a case of beers. I went and just sort of, I was going to say knocked on the tent. But I went, hello, and there was like, hi, and they were dead nice. They had a little community. And I went, yeah, I had some beers. And they went, yeah, all right, yeah. Do you want one? I went, yeah. I had a beer and a chat with them.
Nice.
Because I felt guilty for these other people.
Yeah.
Because I thought, they must get that all the time. People go, why don't you bleeding move somewhere else? We don't want to see you around it. And you know what? Next time I went back, they're gone and they put all fencing up. So they're not allowed to sleep there. Yeah. They did it near me, where I live now. There was a car park, and this homeless guy had found a little niche where in the car park there was this overhang, and there was this little fence, and he worked his way so he could sleep in there.
Yeah.
I went back, and they covered it all up so he couldn't sleep. I thought, who's he harming?
Who's he harming? Yeah. This isn't going to be very funny, but I'm going to say it.
Doesn't have to be funny.
And then we'll. I guess we'll probably finish our episode. But this is only anecdotal evidence, right? But this was my observation of this time period. So when I was growing up, and throughout the 90s and throughout the early 2000s, you bumped into homeless people occasionally, people who were really down on their luck and whatever. But after the 2008 global economy crashed with all the mortgages and all that sort of stuff, and then the government at the time said, well, the economy's crashed, we all have to tighten our belts. And they had, if you remember, it was a policy that they called the Austerity policy, where basically so what happened was bankers and the banks and the mortgage companies fucked the world by going, it's on The Big Short. Don't know if you've ever seen that film. It's excellent. Fucked the world. No one went to jail, or I think one person was like, essentially, no one went to jail. The people who did it still walked away with their millions, and who had to pick up the bill is the taxpayer, the taxpayer going, all right, so we have to tighten our belts. But for some people that was tighten your belts, and for some people that was can't make my mortgage payments, my life's falling apart. Yeah. And that period of austerity, so no one went to jail, no one was punished, the taxpayer was punished, and about 2 years later, I remember walking up, that was 2008, and 2010, I was doing a play at the West End at the Vaudeville Theatre, and I walked up the Strand, and there were tents. Now, my entire life before then, I'd seen maybe one person, maybe two homeless people, but there's a big difference psychologically and literally between going, there's a couple of people who are struggling, and now there are communities that have actually, that it's so bad for them that they've put up tents. I'd never seen tents before. I'd seen it in America on TV, but I'd never seen actual tents of people going. we're semi-permanent here now because we've got no choice.
Yeah.
And it fucking blows my mind.
Yeah.
And really, the only reason I'm saying this is to just go, when you were a kid, do you remember seeing, like, you saw people, individuals,
No, I
but
know
this
what you
thing
mean.
about like communities of tents going, what else are we supposed to do?
I know.
That didn't happen till
I
about
agree.
2008, 9, 10.
I agree.
It's just fucking shocking.
I agree. Listen, there is one story I'm going to wrap up with, and I've said this on the tour, so if you're on the tour, you might have heard it, and it is, it's being recognised by homeless people, because I always think, well, you've got to tell me somewhere.
Oh yeah, where have you seen
Are you
me?
sleeping outside Dixon's?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there was a time when I was walking through, it was Manchester again, and this guy was going, hey, it's you gassing it from 2 pints, and I was like, yeah, all right, mate. He said, yeah, I'll come over here, have a seat, come here. And I was like, oh, and I started walking over, and he was like leant on this bin, until I got close and realised he was having a shit in the bin. And that was the point. I got closer and closer, and I sort of did a slow U-turn. I waved, hiya, mate, sorry, I'll leave you to it. He's like, hiya, with his hand out, like he was going to high-five me. And I was like,
You don't know if he's just
no
wiped.
way.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going anywhere near you. This is as far as I'm getting. I don't know where he was starting, he finished.
Or he was about to wipe.
He might have just said, hiya, can you just go in there and get me some bog roll? I can wipe me Chad. But honestly, it was just a story that made me chuckle as I walked away. I was just thinking, how brazen.
Yeah.
No, he's not trying to hide it.
No,
he's
don't
drawing
give a
attention
shit.
to himself.
Yeah.
Guys, come over here. I'm just having a shit.
Yeah,
Come and say hello.
he's not gone, oh, I might talk to him after I finish. It's like, hey, listen, we can chat. I'm in the middle of something really important.
I'll be with you in a second. Anyway.
Well, hey, listen, what better place to wrap up our episode, because we started with poo, we finished with poo,
God, yeah,
and
What?
you didn't realise it,
What?
and it wasn't the plan, but we actually did a little bit of politics.
Oh, is that politics?
Well, the politics is about austerity and the homeless and that situation. That's
humanity as well. Is look out for each other. I think. Just be a decent person.
I feel like if you get politics right, that's what it should be.
It should
humanity.
be. Yeah, exactly.
But it isn't. So
Exactly.
we'll touch on it once in a while, and there we go. That's it for episode.
Yeah.
Christ, what episode was that? 11.
Yeah. And remember, people, just be a decent person. It makes you feel good, and go about your business, and at least be aware of what's around you, because some people are less fortunate than us.
Yeah, and sometimes you just got to shit in a bin.
Yeah.
Right,
true.
see you next time.
See you next time, people.